Namaste and welcome to yoga today. Wonderful to have you here. We're going to talk today about detachment and maybe even detachment with love. The ego craves sensations. This false sense of self that we built up from being tiny craves sensations in the outer world. But when you get calm and centered in your soul, when you're content, you don't need this next sensation. You begin to find peace in that calmness. So we seek, the ego is always seeking this excitement and the stimulus from the outside world. And the ego wants more of what makes it feel good, whatever that is for you. And so yogis would say, try instead when you wake up in the morning. The ego wakes up in the morning, boom, it wants stimulus right now. And in this day and age, people reach for their phones before they've even got one eye open. And then the next thing they know, they're down the rabbit hole of the mobile phone. Because the ego wants that. It wants this constant bombardment, distracts us. The ego wants to keep distracted. So yogis want to wake up in the morning, and the very first thing they want to do is to feel whole. Just pause for a moment. You feel whole. And that first few moments when you wake up, sometimes it's a second when the woes of the world don't distract you. And you feel in that moment the whole of your being. Sometimes you don't know where you are and who you are for a moment, but you feel whole. Yogis feel fulfilled when they sense the soul in this way. When you feel whole, you are having contact with your soul. And so what we strive to do in yoga is to shed the tension in the body and the turbulence in the mind. And one of the best ways to do that is stop chasing experiences. We chase experiences because they make us feel in a particular way. Sometimes we even chase bad experiences because it's a familiar feeling. So yogis would say, stop pandering to the senses. Stop pampering the senses. That desire to fulfill the needs of the senses, or not the needs so much as the desires of the senses. So the ego wants that outward momentum out into the world that takes you away from your core being, takes you away from the soul and out into the world. And what happens to us when we move out into the world? We become attached to the things of the world. We become attached to a way of life. We become attached to a car or a house. We can't become attached to the clothes we wear and the way our hair's cut. All sorts of things we become attached to. We struggle to let them go, to envisage life without them. You know that sometimes when you're talking to someone, they've got all kinds of reasons why they're not going to do something, when the truth of it is they don't want to do it. And all those excuses are clear to you because that they're their attachments, because they don't make sense to you, because they're not your attachments. And we realize this is not the truth. This is a person looking at the world through their attachments. So what yogis want to do, when you recognize that you're becoming attached to how you live, the way you live, the things you do, the way you are, let go of them. And as you get calm and closer to your inner self, it's so much easier to let go of this, something that you feel bound to. So a good question to ask ourselves as yogis is, if you want something, anything, if you want something, are you okay if you don't get it? What's your hot fudge sundae? That thing that you really, you think, oh, I'd really fancy a hot fudge sundae. And then that becomes a mission. Don't stop until you get it. It's the thing the ego wants in that moment. And the ego just wants what it wants. And it's tenacious in getting it. It's not going to give up until it gets it. But the question yogis like to ask themselves is, do I need it? It's so different what we want, born out of desire, and what we need that comes from the soul. What we need just to survive as a human being. Yogis would say the nitya karmas of life, the things that you have to do to be all right in the world, to have a roof over your head and food to eat, safety, that sort of thing. So what kind of attachments do you have? What's your hot fudge sundae? What takes you away from yourself and sets you on a mission that you cannot be dissuaded from? And we're going to look into that a little more later on. But one of the questions is that a yogi really likes to ponder is, do I know at the core of my being that what I need comes to me? What happens to us is most of us don't, partly because we confuse needs with desires. And so we desire something and we don't get it. And you go, see, I don't get my needs met. The universe is not taking good care of me. But actually, the universe is not fulfilling your desires, but very often is giving you exactly what you need. And so yogis want to have that sense. Can you sit and honestly say, what I need comes to me? What I need comes to me. Whether that be in the physical world, or the mental, emotional world. Does what you need come to you? Can you really enjoy your life as it is right now? Just as it is, there may be things waiting to be resolved. There may be challenges to face. But in this very moment, and we'll just do this for a moment, can you sense my life is wonderful, just as it is right now? Right? Life is only fine in this moment. If you look back and you think, what was it you wanted when you were a year old, that you screamed until you got it, or, when you had the last spoon of yogurt out of the yogurt pot when you were a kid and there was no more left. You're done. Whether you wanted a new pair of shoes or you wanted a piano, you wanted a horse, you wanted a football, who knows, all those desires. And yogis would say we're always in that state. We're always looking to go out and find more and more out in the world that's going to fulfill us. And unfortunately, all those things you either got or didn't get, did it work? Was your life now complete when you got that new outfit when you were a kid and you wanted what everyone else in school was wearing? Either you didn't get it and you're still craving it, that sense of belonging, or you got it and had a different desire the following day, the next minute. Our desires remain fulfilled for a very short amount of time before the ego throws another one into the mix. So yogis want to feel free of that. And you do it by knowing in this moment, whatever you may want, you have everything you need. What's a huge step forward as a human being to live your life from there, as a result of not chasing out into the world, not chasing what the senses want. This inner sense of, I have what I need. I am content with what I have. I'm calm and at peace. And as you do that, you get closer and closer to the soul. And you experience that peace more and more, and your desires less and less. And eventually what happens is you see these desires fall away, and your attachment to what it is you desire. And eventually what happens is your most important desire is not for a hot fudge sundae or a new car or the appreciation of your spouse or your children. It can be much more subtle. And you yearn, your primary desire becomes to experience the spirit within, or the Lord of your heart. And this you can do from the core of your being, seated in stillness. So we've talked about some of them already, of what is an attachment, It can be the phone first thing in the morning when you wake up. It can be a hot fudge sundae. It can be, the house, the car, the job, the person. It can be alcohol or cigarettes or exercise, those strong desires that become addictions that we can't manage without. It can be a work that becomes all consuming and we forget it's a job. We forget that we have family and friends and balance in our lives to figure out. And we become workaholics. There's so many ways to become attached. And so yogis would say that anything that throws you off center, you know, how are you going to identify what an attachment is? Ask yourself the question, is this hurting me? Is this hurting my family? Is it hurting my friends? If I don't get it, does it throw me off track? Do I get hurt or do I get angry? Is what I'm doing healthy? Does it support life, my life, your life? There's nothing wrong with enjoying your life. You were born to live in divine joy. But what we have to look out for is this attachment that we've developed to things that are not leading us to the soul. There are things that are harming us, the things that throw us off center. Cravings throw us off center. So the first part of learning to detach ourselves from the attachments we've made is beginning to identify it. And the best way to identify it is to look at these things. Is it hurting me, my family, my friends, my well-being? If I don't get it, is it throwing me off? And the second thing of this next step in this process of learning to detach ourselves is play with it, make it something that's more fun and less traumatic. Look at it and occasionally decide, well, yes, this is what I want, I desire this, but just this once, I'm not going to fulfill it. I'll do it tomorrow, but I'm not going to do it today. So you begin in a small way. Just for today, I choose not to do that. I choose not to fulfill that desire, that attachment. I'm not going to be pulled by it. And so yogis would say, just if it's a weak attachment, that is usually enough for it to fall away. You don't follow it a few times and it loses its power over you. It becomes something that is not stealing away part of your consciousness and your effort to fulfill it. And if you keep going, and keep practicing that, well, today I'm not going to do that, then if it becomes a continuous project that you're doing, even the strongest of attachments will fall away. And then the next thing is, when you've worked on a few of these, look for the more subtle attachments that you have, the things that hurt you, pull you away from family and friends, things that throw you off track, that make you hurt and angry, that you know are not healthy for you. Look for the subtle variations of those. It could be something like your reputation. If somebody gets credit for what you do you feel like saying, they didn't do that, I did. I'm the one who spoke. I'm the one who changed that. I'm the one who spotted it. I'm the one who noticed it. You can tell by the word, I am, I am, I am. It's the ego's voice. If you have a wonderful idea, somebody else having the same wonderful idea is a wonderful thing. And if they're so excited about it that they talk about it as if it was their idea, it's okay. So we want to be detached, make that letting go process. If you're proud of your reputation and people bring it into disrepute, Does that hurt you? There are other things like aversions, things we just don't like, and recognize that's we're as attached to them as we are to the things we do like. They have a, if you see anybody who's afraid of spiders, they're pretty attached to that, you know. They can't let that go easily. Old habits, old habits of thought and feeling, things that more subtle, like I'm not important. People don't think well of me. People don't help me. The woe is me list, My children don't appreciate me. My parents didn't love me. There's so much in there in our consciousness that we keep hold of because we are attached to that. And so, we want to get rid of those things. So we'll finish today by doing a practice for the next 10 minutes or so. And if you just close your eyes and sit meditatively, relax your shoulders, spine straight, feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath. And again, long exhalation. And relax. And just begin by sensing I have everything I need. And from that sense that you have everything you need, can you identify some of your attachments? You might just pick one or two, your choice. Having identified attachments, let them go. You don't need them. Having let go of that attachment, just sit and be still. The stillness permeate your whole being, the body, your intuition, your thoughts, your feelings, your life force, and your physical body. feel how good it feels to be calm, centered. And as we get ready to move out into the world, just tensing and relaxing your arms and legs. And just swaying your body from side to side. Making smaller arcs until you're sitting straight. Drop your chin to your chest. And either just moving your head gently from side to side, or if you have no neck problems, just rotating your head first in one direction and then in the other. Try. And coming back to center and gently opening your eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.